So if I make the mistake of pouring out from here onto the floor and I let it drip, 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 eventually some of that yellow that's stuck, part A or part B, is gonna drip out onto the floor. That's why they say don't let your mixing bucket drip, drip, drip. This is part A. The ketchup will be part B. Hi, this is Don with Houston Garage Floors. If you experience wet spots in your epoxy floor that don't dry sometimes, let me explain why it's probably happening. You're probably mixing the epoxy in one bucket, pouring it all out, and letting the bottom drip out. Part A and part B will never dry on its own. You can't just add heat. This stuff is not paint. You need part A and part B. Part A or part B might get crusty and kind of hard, but it'll never fully cure unless it's mixed properly. So don't think that you could just add a heat gun to these wet spots. Let me show you what's happening. This is part A. The ketchup will be part B. This is just for illustration purposes. So if I've got part A in here and I add part B and I mix it, it's going to change colors. Now look at the inside. It's red and yellow combined, but the outside at the bottom is still yellow. Why is that? Whatever you pour into the bucket first will cling to the sidewalls, and you'll never be able to mix that. It's only what's on the inside that's mixed. So if I make the mistake of pouring out from here onto the floor and I let it drip, 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 eventually some of that yellow that's stuck, part A or part B, is gonna drip out onto the floor. That's why they say don't let your mixing bucket drip, drip, drip. What's even better to do is pour it all into a new fresh bucket and then take this fresh bucket and pour it out so you don't have to worry about dripping stuff from the bottom. You also don't want to take the mixing bucket and stick a brush in here, because you can touch that sidewall with the brush and then transfer unmixed part A or part B all throughout the floor, and you'll have these spots that never dry, and a heat gun won't help. So always mix in one container, pour it all out into a new container. Don't scrape the bottom, don't let it drip, drip, drip. Just pour it out, and then you've got a brand new fresh bucket. So a bucket costs $5. That's a lot cheaper than having to come back and fix all these spots. A lot of people don't want to sacrifice a bucket because of cost, but what's more important, your reputation, all that time, or a $5 bucket? This is Don at HoustonGarageFloors.com. If you learned something, please go to Google, Facebook, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. You don't have to be a customer to give us positive feedback. If you learn something, you can always go online and say, hey man, these people help me out. If you guys have any other issues, you need help with epoxy garage flooring, send me an email, Don, D-O-N, at HoustonGarageFloors.com. Thanks.